Hello, everyone. Welcome to Becoming with the hashtag I Am Movement. I am Tracy Tuitt, the founder and managing director of the hashtag I Am Movement, and your host and facilitator for this live virtual event series. For those of you who are new to our YouTube channel, I say welcome. And for those who have been here before, whether it's during last week's episode of Becoming or taking one of our YouTube dance tutorials, to you all, I say welcome back. Becoming with the hashtag I Am Movement is a live virtual event series that is centered around the idea of self confidence, what affects it, and how to tap into it as a woman. There are 4 episodes in this series, and this is our second episode. Last week, we focused on the relationship between mental health and self confidence, and this week, we'll be exploring the impact of social media on one's self confidence. While we do have 3 phenomenal women here with us today to help lead this particular conversation, I do invite you, our viewers and our subscribers, to share any tricks and tips of your own on how a woman can navigate this relationship between social media and self-confidence. You can share your thoughts and feedback via the comment section throughout the event, and we'll do our best to respond and highlight them. As always, I'm thrilled to have you all here and to be able to share and level with each other in this virtual safe space. So once again, I just want to welcome you to episode 2 of Becoming with the hashtag I Am Movement. All right, social media. We can't live without it, and sometimes we can't live with it, right? For many of us, social media is at the center of our lives. It's how we stay informed about current events. It's how we connect with family and friends, especially during the last 2 years. It's how we're able to run our businesses. Hi? Hello? Oh, okay. Oh, right. So it's how we're able to run our businesses and how we build our brands. It's how we entertain ourselves and sometimes our children, and so on and so forth. Social media is also a platform through which we are able to express ourselves and share our thoughts and opinions. And so introduces the dark side to social media. Anyone can say almost anything to you, and about people like you. Social media is not without its implications, which is why I felt it necessary to explore the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of social media when talking about what affects one's self-confidence. Hence the topic for today's event, our love-hate relationship with social media. I'm so excited to introduce our panel. We have 3 women with tons of expertise on social media. They know what it means to show up online. They know what it takes to build online communities. And I'm sure they too have their personal experiences with the not so great aspects of social media. So let me get straight into introducing our panelists. First up, we have Paula Joseph, who is also one of the brand ambassadors for the hashtag I Am Movement plug. She is a freelance digital content manager who helps brands engage with their online communities. She joined the field of digital marketing as a volunteer blogger for a local travel and tourism group, Road Trip TT, and went on to write articles for several local entities and the Woman to Woman magazine based in Atlanta, Georgia. In her spare time, she enjoys binge watching reality television. Who doesn't? Reading and spending time with friends and family. She possesses a bachelor's in marketing and an AAS business administration with honors from the College of Science, Technology, and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago. Additionally, she holds certificates from MailChimp, and is a Facebook certified digital marketing associate. Thank you so much for joining us, Paula.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here with Paris and Nelly too. I'm excited for our conversation today.
We're all bubbling with excitement, right? So, also on this panel, we have Chanel Bethel Peters, who is also known as Nelly B. Nelly B is a web and social media officer by day, but a digital content creator and a lover of life every single day. She currently manages the Caribbean People with Natural Hair Facebook group and is the epitome of if support local was a person. She is an avid supporter of local beauty and lifestyle brands. For her, her brand, A Day in the Life of Nelly B, is a journey of love as she shares with the community about all things beauty and natural hair care, self love and self care, her discovery of amazing local goods and experiences, her faith, positivity, and adventures. Melody, I am so happy to have you here.
Very happy to be here with you and Paula and Paris. Really excited to engage in the conversation based on the topic that we're going to be chatting about today.
Yeah, and it's going to be as real and as authentic as it comes. Paris is our final Paris. She is the founder and face of yoga and fitness brand Your Yoga BFF, who is also our sponsor for episode 2 of Becoming. She graduated from the University of Toronto with high distinction and a BSc in biochemistry and neuroscience. Though a self proclaimed science nerd, her passion lies in practicing and teaching yoga. Paris is certified by the International Yoga Alliance and is accredited by New York University in yoga and physiology. She is also the host of the Live Your Damn Life podcast that creates a conversation about how we can go about living our best lives fully and unconditionally. Paris intends to merge her passion for science with a love for yoga to help her participants bring their minds and bodies into balance and live their best lives through yoga and wellness. She is also the founder of the Mindfully Fit lifestyle brand, where she offers courses, live classes, and products to help participants along the journey. It's a pleasure to have you here, Paris.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so glad that we're able to do this virtually and that we're able to meet you all and that we can all discuss something that is so needed in the social media world. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So these are our panelists. And just a reminder, if you are just joining us, we will be discussing the topic, our love-hate relationship with social media. And I just want to mention that there will be a live question answer segment at the end of this particular episode. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments that you'd like to share, please feel free to do so in our comment section. And I can see someone is already putting it to good use. Candice, it's so nice to have you here. Good afternoon. And yes, good vibes all around. So before we get into discussion, I just want to highlight once again that our sponsor for today's event is Your Yoga BFF. So founder of Your Yoga BFF, of course, Paris, who is one of our panelists, describes the brand as a community where people can come together to learn more about how to bring their minds and bodies into balance. Your Yoga BFF offers a range of both online and in-person yoga classes, as well as a selection of mindfully fit lifestyle products such as yoga mats, resistance bands, yoga blocks, and so much more. So if you have been following Becoming on Instagram, so it's at becoming_TT, or the Facebook event page, you would know that Your Yoga BFF will be doing a giveaway. And I've seen a lot of people respond really well to that giveaway. They're excited. Of one yoga mat and a 10-class pass for yoga classes to one lucky attendee today. The winner will be chosen by a random selection at the end of the event. So I think I have spoken a lot. So I know we are all excited to jump into this invigorating conversation about what we love and what we hate about social media. So let's start off with our sponsor for today. And Paris, can you give us a brief on your social media experience with the different platforms and tell us which one is your favorite and why?
Thank you, Tracy, for your wonderful introduction. So I think that my favorite, of course, would be Instagram because they integrated a lot of different things now, including video, pictures, and I love the ability that we have to just kind of share our behind the scenes via stories and reach so many different people. So it's really established. So I would choose that as my favorite one. And what was the question? What was the other question? After my favorite one.
Well, it was also a little brief about your experience with the other digital platforms and why did you choose? Well, you said why you chose Instagram, but why did you choose it over the others? Because Facebook also allows you to do the images and the video.
Yeah, for some reason, I feel like when I post stuff on Facebook, it gets kind of lost. It's just Instagram, like people are coming specifically for you, and you're able to kind of hone in on your niche. So, my niche would be yoga and fitness. So, I'm kind of able to curate a page that's kind of like a visual blog. So, I feel like Facebook is kind of like it's just a lot of things going on, the wall, the different things. So, if I was building a brand or a business, I would want to have it like a virtual blog, which is what Instagram gives. But to be honest, I'm actually loving TikTok these days. I know it's like Gen Z vibe, but something about the TikTok algorithm is I hope they don't change it to what Instagram is, because the ability that you have on TikTok to post something and reach people who don't even follow you is amazing. Like I started TikTok much later than Instagram, and already like the amount of people I'm able to reach there is much more than Instagram. So I think that that is really unique because you don't always get a chance to feature yourself like that. So I think that, you know, we kind of have to move with the times, and TikTok is slowly creeping up as something that like we should all make use of. So that would be like my Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to, do the both.
Thanks so much for sharing, Paris. And I just want to make one small note as well. I know we're talking about our love-hate relationship with social media as it relates to self-confidence, but I would say that I'm pretty sure as experts, you're going to get a lot of advice into how the different platforms run. So if you are tuning in, I would say hold on to those little tidbits that you're going to get on how to really manage your social media experience. So thank you so much for sharing, Paris. And let's head straight across to Nelly B. So Nelly, tell us, which is your favorite social media platform and why?
Let's see. I'll be very honest, I don't have a favorite. I've been in the digital space as a manager since like 2013 and as a content creator, I think roughly around the same time. So seeing how platforms have evolved and changed, etc., it's kind of hard to pick one favorite because I use each of them differently. So I can't really pin down a favorite. I guess, like Paris, it's kind of a toss up between Instagram and TikTok these days because Ezekiel traverses the Gen Z field of TikTok with my whole millennial self. Um, just the way that you can grow on there and, like Paris said, reach more people, and just how you can create on TikTok itself. It's fun, it's interesting, it's fun. You can get really creative within the app. So if I had to choose, similarly to Paris, it'd be a toss up between Instagram and TikTok. Instagram needs to stop doing what they're doing to try and be like TikTok, but that's a story for another part of the episode.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think what you're not saying as well is that TikTok is a rabbit hole. So once you reach there, you can't really get out. I mean, once I had the lovely experience of doing 7 TikToks in one afternoon, I had a lot of work to do, and I was on TikTok. You know. So that said, I'm going to hand over to our third panelist, Paula, if you would mind sharing with us. What is your favorite social media platform and why? Although I feel I know what she's going to say.
Okay, so TikTok is definitely mine. It's just a fun platform. But to be honest, from a digital content manager perspective, any platform that your clients are on, that's the platform that should be your favorite. Um, on a more professional level, I would definitely say, because I'm like experiencing LinkedIn now, I think that that is kind of like my favorite too, because it's so important for us as young persons to have like a professional space. So in the same way that we would curate our Instagram and we are having fun on TikTok, it's also like important for us to, build a portfolio, show what we're doing, some of our professional work that we're doing. And so yeah, that would be my top. Definitely TikTok for all the fun stuff and LinkedIn for professional stuff for sure.
All right, so thank you so much for sharing, Paula. And I completely agree with you there. I know I have some more work to do with LinkedIn, but I feel you. You're basically, those two things you're conscious on either side. Yeah, you're the one that says, you really need to focus more on LinkedIn all the time. So thank you so much for sharing. And I'm glad that we have such great things to say about social media, our favorite platforms and why and how it helps our businesses. And I kind of just want to get a little deeper into that. So with the same platform that you would have stated was your favorite, I want you to identify one thing that has not been so great about that particular platform. We'll go with Nelly last because she said, she doesn't really have one. So I'm going to have to pick one for her. So Paris, actually, let's go with Paula. Paula, what is one thing you would say is not so great about either platform, either TikTok or LinkedIn?
Okay, I would say the thing that is not so great, probably because you mentioned it earlier, would definitely be the rabbit hole. I'm like a big advocate for digital well-being. So if you're in that constant shock of, okay, I watched this video, and you keep going whole day, and your time has passed, you're not being productive, and it's like, where all the time going? Like I was enjoying myself watching the little TikToks, doing the dance with them. But like, at some point you have to balance that with everything that you do. You want to ensure that you are enjoying your time on social media, but you also are putting your digital well-being first. When you look at your screen time after you've been on social media all day, and I mean 33, well, all four of us actually, because we're in the social media space, I'm sure screen times are crazy, whether it's for clients, because after our clients are done, of course, we want to enjoy social media for our personal time. So, it's just that I would say definitely that rabbit hole can be like a negative side to it.
I 100% feel you on that digital well-being. I am a big advocate for it as well. The difference, I think, in what you would have said is after I'm done with, my job, social media, and social media for my personal brand, I don't want to see social media again for the rest of the day. That's what happens on but then that you still need to show up. So I definitely feel you there. And, our viewers are also weighing in. Candace also mentioned that TikTok is very addictive. So we definitely want to get a little bit more, we want to go deeper into that digital well-being. So thank you so much for bringing across that point, Paula. Paris, do you want to add to that conversation?
That is true though. I find myself down on TikTok like all strange hours of the night. And then like I'm just like, I thought I was going to sleep, but it's like 2 o'clock. So I don't like that. I try to cut myself off. But one thing I don't like, I don't know if it's because I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I just feel like since Instagram kind of came out first and everybody was kind of striving for this perfection on Instagram, like, perfect pictures, perfect lighting, perfect this, and like everybody's kind of forced into perfection there. And I don't know if it's because we're a little bit more lax with TikTok. Like I just post so much more different content on TikTok, and it's just like more me, I don't care about like my grid looking perfect or having like filters, and like I just don't know what it is, because it's just mental. Like when you think about it, it's just how we were conditioned. And I really love that about TikTok, that I don't really care how my feed looks. And then it's like what I don't like is how much we compare our Instagram feed. And it's like I don't even care about the amount of followers I have on TikTok, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, Instagram, like I should be doing this, like I'm losing followers. And it's like you don't want to get into that kind of trap. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because Instagram was just conditioned as what we first came up into. But yeah, nobody even really cares how much likes we have on a Facebook page. Like, you don't think about that as much as you think about Instagram. So that's so weird, like, to think about. So I don't like that it's like a space where you compare yourself a lot. Like, it's just a medium for you to like compare more than usual. So that's why I always say, like, and my Instagram actually got deactivated once, like by accident, by Instagram, and it got disabled. And at that point, like, I did feel a sense, honestly, like deep down, even though I cried, I felt a sense of like, now I can maybe start over and be more myself and be more on TikTok and just, do something else. So I think it's important to diversify and just to not get too caught up in that web of like perfect, because yeah, it's hard.
Wow. Yes, 100%. And I think it's a generational thing, in terms of who the audiences are for. As we proceed in the generations, there's a tendency to not. Hmm, there's a word that I want to say, but it's too explicit. But they tend to stop caring as much, and not only that, the type of content is more, again, focused to well-being, being who you are, versus Instagram, where you would have been trained. If we went into like, social media and the whole building a portfolio in social media, we were trained to make sure that your content looks a particular way. And anything less than that, if your picture is too blurry, absolutely not. If it's this, absolutely not. It has to look a certain way to facilitate that algorithm. So you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Nelly, how are you
Well,
doing?
I'm all right. Well, in addition to what Paris and Paula said, one of the things I dislike about social media is the lack of repercussion and or accountability. And I say that in terms of when it comes to things like trolls, persons who, for one reason or the other, they don't know you from Eve, but they feel the need to leave very disparaging comments on your whether you post photo, video, whatever the case may be. That brazenness that people have because of the fact that it's just social media, it's just online, it's just digital, and they're not going to experience, at least not immediately, any type of accountability or repercussion for the things that they say. Because 9 out of 10, you telling me that comment on Instagram or on TikTok, you're not going to say it to my face because I will throw hands. But that's a story for another day. So it's just that lack of that compassion is the word, maybe, that persons just have, that I could just say anything I want and be mean for the sake of being, for the sake of it, and how they use that negative energy towards other persons who they don't know. You don't know this person online, and even if you do, it doesn't give you the right to do what you're doing. So that's the main thing I dislike about social media.
Thank you so much for sharing, Nelly. And that actually brings me to a next point, because it does sound like it's coming from a lot of experience. Have you personally experienced that sort of brazenness on social media?
Oh yeah, I have. I have persons who, for one reason or the other, felt the need to leave very disgusting. There's no other way to describe it as disgusting comments under across from Facebook to TikTok. Some of them are persons who I later found out I know who they are. Others were just complete strangers who I ended up confronting in person. Story for another day. But yeah, it's just like this person. I'm just doing me, living life, just putting out my content for the love of putting out my content, and you're just there like you just feel the need to knock me up a peg down for what? I didn't do anything to you. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it is what it is.
And even though it's been annoying, has that how has that affected you? Like, how has that affected your entire social media experience? Or did it affect you? Or were you just able to just keep on doing what you're doing, regardless of whatever it is they would have said?
I think the first time it happened, um, I was taken aback because I was like, well, this came out of left field. Tried to figure, I found out who it was eventually and understood. And when I say understood, I think that I understood why they thought it was okay, although it wasn't okay, if you catch what I mean by that. But at the same time, I was like, okay, why is this person attacking me? And continued to do so from different accounts over the course of roughly, I think, 2 to 3 years. But eventually I'm like, you know what? This one person, I'm not gonna let them stop me from doing something that I genuinely love to do. So anytime the negative comments come about, I just delete, I just block, I just restrict. Sometimes if I don't see it, a follower will see it and a follower will take a turn in the tail on my behalf. I'm not gonna let that stop me. So water under the bridge, water over duck back. One of them saying, I'm not sure, but yeah, it. I no longer let these things affect me. It's literally like, oh, they left that comment, block. They left that comment, delete. Good for you. Pat, 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 and just move on. That's it.
Protect your digital space. That's what it is, protecting your digital space. Paula, do you have anything that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, so essentially, what Nelly is saying circles back to that whole thing about digital well being. So, although social media gives a lot of persons access, like for instance, one time I had posted like a WCW for one of my brands, and it was Sarah Haynes who was the person, she's a co host on The View, and she commented and she was like, oh my gosh, I needed to see this morning. I would never have had the ability to speak to Sarah Haynes ever if it wasn't for social media. But on the other hand, it gives the regular person access and maybe too much access where they feel like they can tell you whatever they feel like, whatever comes through their mind. But again, you have control over your digital space. So what Nelly is doing in blocking the person or whatever she's doing to protect her digital space, that's exactly what you have to do. Okay, you being hot today under my comments. Okay, bye. And that's it.
Thanks so much. And it really brings a certain level of maturity in the sense that, you know what they used to tell you in the past, well, not the past, like the older generation, they would say you can't control what others do, you could only control how you respond. I think with social media, that's literally all you can do. You cannot make people not comment. I guess you can completely block comments if you want to, but you still cannot completely control the other people. You really have to control how you respond and plan how you're going to respond to those types of comments. You know, and Paris, I know I keep seeing you inching to the camera.
I was just like rocking. I have this like nervous habit. Yeah, no, I completely agree with what both Paula and Nelly said. That is so important to protect your space. And like one thing I just want to add to that because they pretty much covered it. I feel like you also have to choose to not engage because it's so easy. Like I remember, so I got really negative comments early on Instagram, and then somehow like it just got filtered out, and everybody was just way like nice. I don't know if it's like when I, broke through the yoga community, everybody was just so nice and supportive that I didn't see a negative comment in a really long time. And then one of the videos that I made on TikTok with people who I guess would not have known me on Instagram, like just it goes everywhere. TikTok goes everywhere. A lot of younger people as well. I realized that TikTok was just a hub for the fake profiles and the negative comments. And I started seeing the like comments I haven't even like stuff I haven't even heard or seen people like bad talk or say like after so long. And this was recently. And I remember this one video this brand wanted me to do. And I did it. And I did it exactly how they wanted to. And they approved it and everything. And everybody had something bad to say. And it reached to the point where I had messaged them and be like, can I remove the video? Because and they actually told me, they said no, because people will always be like that. And that is just how the mentality is. So just you are actually like, let them talk about it. That is like, you know, you can't do anything. And like, I actually reached the point of wanting to be like, please, can I delete the video? Because I started to reach back to that where it started to like, you know, get through the walls that you build. Cause like you obviously have to have a thick wall or thick skin to be putting yourself out there. And I didn't see a negative comment in so long. And then when I started to post on TikTok, they started to creep back up. And the thing is, it's so easy in that flash moment to respond and to like, you know, say something snide or be like, you know, like respond the same way on their level. It's so easy. And you just have to not engage. And that's what I've learned, that to keep your space clear from drama or clear from like responding to people, because I just feel like it could just leave just like a bad taste, you know, in somebody's mouth if like you constantly like replying. So like what Nelly said, and which was just to block and delete and just kind of focusing on the good comments. That is like what I feel really helps, because once you engage, you go down the rabbit hole as well. And it's just not a good look for you or your brand. So just don't engage with it. Yeah, like somebody in the comments, I think that's Melanie, Skin Galaxy, said block and delete. It's true.
100%. And I think you made a very fair point to in merging where business meets your personal experience or how you feel. Because if you're talking about building a business online, then you're going to have to be mindful of things like crisis management and how you respond. And that's a very excellent point, Paris. You're going to have to find a way to be okay. And when I say you, I mean anyone who is going forward on social media. If you're thinking of building a brand and building a business, you're going to have to find a way to know how you're going to deal with those comments when they do in fact come your way. And on that note, I think we are ready for a little break. We've gone pretty deep into this conversation, but I feel like we have much deeper to go. So we will return after this break. And we are back. Welcome back to Becoming with the hashtag I Am Movement. We are discussing our love-hate relationship with social media, and we are joined by 3 social media experts on, being self-confident. Well, yeah, being self-confident while on social media. So before the break, we would have had a very in-depth conversation, and I also want to highlight some of our comments because I feel like the people who are here also have a fair idea of what it is to be confident while on social media. So especially this one specific comment that says, once you know you're putting good into the world and good into the social space. That's the most important thing. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And we are about to go a little bit deeper. Particularly, I want to talk a little bit about body positivity. So we have been speaking just in general about, what it is to really show up online and show who you are. Um, I also feel like somehow that tends to be a little bit separate and apart from your body and bringing attention to your body on social media. What I want to find out from you guys is, have you had any sort of negative reviews or negative comments about who you are and your body specifically while on social media? I feel like Nelly is unmuting there because she's ready and she's going to go.
Come on, 2 words. I'm fat. That in itself should say, I know, and understand something. I don't use the word fat in like a negative way. It's just a descriptor: tall, short, slim, skinny, fat, whatever. So when I say I'm fat, that's just a realization. I'm fat, and that's okay. That's me, that's my body. But listen, when I tell you, persons who try to be negative, the first thing they aim for is my weight or my size and make a comment regarding it. And I'm just there like, really? That's the most original thing you could come up with? I mean, if you're gonna try to make a jab at me or knock me down a few pegs or hurt my feelings, you could come a little better than calling me fat. That's not gonna work for me. That is literally, if it's not the my naturally dark circles on my around my eyes, because I have on my mom's side of the family, we have genetic raccoon eyes. It's a trait. I love it. I embrace it. If it's not that, it is my size. And at this point in time, I'm like, okay, that if anything, those kind of comments at first used to get at me. But after a point in time, I've come to the realization that this is my body. Is it where I want it to be? Not quite, but I am loving it the best that I can and trying to take care of it the best that I can. And that's all I could do. If they want to be mean about it, that's them.
Thank you so much, Nelly. And you brought up an interesting thing that I want to put a pin in. But we're definitely going to come back to that. Paris, how what is your experience like when it comes to body positivity and on social media?
I think for me, since my whole like profile or my whole brand is like fitness and yoga, I just feel so pressured to like always be looking on point, because I mean, if I'm not looking on point, then they're like, okay, but how are you this fitness person? And I feel like it had this one comment I remember. I don't like the comments sometimes just never leave. Like it's just like lingers. You always kind of, remember it sometimes. And I remember like I do have stretch marks, I do have cellulite, and like that is completely normal. And then yeah, it's like so normal, like it doesn't matter your size. And I remember somebody commented and it was like how a skinny girl could have cellulite, and I was just like, this is so stupid. And then I like with the yoga too, it's like really like hard because like okay, so lifting weights and yoga is like different things, right? So before, when I now started my yoga journey, it was really like hard for me to gain muscle when I first started because I was just really small. And people would make comments and they'd be like, oh, but I'm not even seeing her butt in this picture. Like, where is it? It's part of her back. And they would say these things. And like, it reached the point where I was like going to a trainer and being like, how could I incorporate like yoga and like lifting weights just to like give me a little bit of shape? And then like I stopped trying to do it for everybody else. And then I was just like, you know what? Let me continue. I love yoga. I love Pilates. Like, and then eventually, like over time, it started to like shape me up a little bit better. And like I wasn't doing it for people. I was just doing the exercises that I loved. And then I realized that I do it myself. Like I would look at fitness people and I'd be like, oh my God, like they have abs or they look a certain way 24/7, but it's not really 24/7. Like a square on Instagram or a 2-second story does not mean they're walking around with abs 24/7. And it's when I started to realize that on my page, I started to share how I look when I don't have abs or when I feel bloated, just to like tell everybody that even though I do yoga and I am a fitness person, I don't walk around with abs 24/7, and I don't walk around like looking this image. So I started to do a little small series on Instagram, being like what I post versus what I delete. And I would show people out of the good pictures, I would get that one picture with the angles and the abs and the shadowing, and then a picture right after where I'm just relaxed. And there's a huge difference. Like I actually have to constrict my abs, wear high-waisted stuff, and get that like definition from shadows. Like it's not something you have all the time, regardless of if you are like this big fitness person. Even people who have like cut out abs, they wake up some mornings and feel bloated. So like I just wanted to put that out there as somebody who is in the fitness world, that yes, I am doing these things, but I am not walking around with abs all the time. And like I still probably never gonna get like the shape of butt that I want, that I dream of. And it's hard for me to like gain weight in the areas that I want. But like I am showing you that like people post this one thing and they have all of these different, like I even have like those love handles and stuff that when I twist in yoga poses, I used to delete those pictures because I used to be like, when I do a forward fold, like my stomach folds, and I would be like, oh my God, people will be like, how is she this fitness person? And then I was like, I'm folding and my body is folding because it's skin. So like I don't care anymore. So like I post those things and I do that series, and I want to do more of that to show people that even people who are in the fitness industry, they are not perfect. And like you don't have to starve yourself or feel like you have to look at that certain way. So like that has been my experience with it.
Perfect. 2 points on that. I love diversity because you always think, myself included. I always say this: doing hashtag I am movement made me very aware of how much we all have shared experiences, even though we look differently. I mean, growing up, you definitely think only one specific body type gets all this bullying. But it also happens with, I don't know, people just feel a need to comment on a woman's body. Right? And I'm saying that very loosely because I think when I do start going into the male perspective, somehow we're probably gonna hear the same thing. And also too, that what you said there, Paris, also brings to light a positive of social media, because before social media became so rampant and so much like the norm, we only had magazines, we only had ads, with TV ads to dictate what our reality should look like, and they weren't keen on putting out content that reflects the normal body. No, if there's a roll in your tummy when you do that forward bend, it has to come out, so I am grateful for content creators like yourselves who are putting out that sort of content that shows the reality. So yes, we want to have things looking a certain way, but hey, we're still people at the end of the day. So I know we don't take that role lightly. What does Uncle Ben say? With great power comes great responsibility. I hope I said that correctly, because if I didn't, I have some bullying to face of my own. Paula, would you like to weigh in on that?
For sure. When you said just now about like persons commenting on women's bodies, um, one time there was this guy who said something under my photo, um, on Facebook, and I was just like, okay, so out of all the things you could think to say, that's what you would say, versus all the other positive comments that people post up. But it doesn't bother me, because karma works in a weird way. And I could probably say the same thing about him today. But let's go back to like, from a digital content manager perspective. Was the weirdest thing that happens to me is when like a brand that I post for so gets a negative comment, it almost feels like these people are attacking me. And I'll be like, wait, what's going on here? You understand? But it's not necessarily me they are attacking, but it just feels like that. So yeah, that's just my experience.
Thanks so much, Paula. And I definitely relate to that. When someone attacks my brand, I'm almost ready to fight. But I can't because my job is on the line. But yeah, so those are some really excellent points. I'm definitely ready to go a little bit deeper into that as well. Um, and again, our viewers, they also know exactly what we're talking about. They feel it. They understand that whole idea of perfection, and perfection as a woman. There is a lot to go into when we speak about that. So right now, I think we are also due for another little break. So we will head straight into that and we will be back. So stay tuned, you guys. All right, and we're back from our little break. I hope you guys were enjoying those little ads because I can tell you from behind the scenes we were enjoying it as well. Um, so I just want to bring back our focus to what we were talking about before, which is how you deal with negative comments about your body, body positivity on the whole. And I wanted to mention, I forgot about it earlier, but I also wanted to mention that I think the deeper you go into social media and the deeper you go into building your brand as you grow, um, you become more exposed. Um, so right now, I may not have had those particular experiences, but it's also because I am not as in deep in social media as you all are. And I think you have to prepare yourself for when you do decide to take that particular leap or you make that decision to, yes, this is what I want to do. I'm going to use social media to do it. This is what I'm going to face. So we have to be prepared for that. And it also brings me into one of our final questions for this evening, which is many women are starting to build businesses and brands online, and social media is a staple. We cannot run away from it. It is a staple to helping those brands and businesses grow. So I'm gonna kick it off with Paula. So what lessons have you learned that you would like to pass on to these women in terms of tapping into and maintaining self-confidence along the journey, especially when engaging with social media?
Okay, so first I would say when I started my freelancing business, it was a battle for sure with imposter syndrome because I used to be like, okay, I'm giving people all these tips about how to use social media, and they're gonna be like, well, who she think she is, right? But like at the end of the day, I had to look back on the things that I did to take myself out of that. Like I got educated. I am constantly, it's like a constant learning and relearning type of situation. And I assisted so many people with their brands So why am I feeling this way, But coming full circle to self-confidence, it's like a roller coaster. So you have to think about the moments where you're high, at a high point on the roller coaster. What made you feel so self-confident? And then when you're on the low, think to those times when you were feeling like super confident. What can you apply from those super confident moments to those low moments to get you out of it? So if it's, let's say, I could talk about social media forever and I'm confident in that space. But if you tell me, okay, Paula, come on a live show and talk about how to fly a plane, I'll be like spazzed out because what I know about flying planes, right? But if I think back to the method I would use to speak about social media, it would mean that I do research, right? So it would make me feel more confident with the topic to speak about it. And that's just basically what you have to do, especially when you feel like you're not good at something. Learn it, spend some time with it, and eventually you'll get there.
All right, thanks so much for sharing, Paula. Definitely feel you there. Know what is good about you, what are your strengths, and definitely use that to propel yourself. In whatever it is that you're doing. Pulling on the things that you already know. You know, Paris. Do you have anything that you'd like to include in that?
Yeah, like what yeah, so I'm seeing it in the chat as well. Imposter syndrome is very real. And I actually did an entire podcast episode on this. So I wanted to share quotes that I had shared in that podcast. And it was that imposter syndrome gives so much weight to what you didn't do yet instead of focusing on what you've accomplished already. So even though and I just love that quote because it's like, it's always like, oh, I'm not this yet, and I'm not this yet, and I don't have this certificate yet. But you are not given equal weight to your years of experience, regardless of if you have a certificate or not. And I talked about that because for the first 2 years of me posting Instagram, like yoga on Instagram, I did not have the official Alliance certificate. I didn't know I was going to be a teacher. And I struggled so much with imposter syndrome. I was like, who am I to be posing in yoga? I'm not like Alliance certified, but I had years of anatomy and physiology under my belt. I had self knowledge. I was self taught. And instead of giving weight to that, I chose to give more weight to the official things that I didn't have yet. And you will get there. You will get to those things, but give it weight as well. Don't just think about what you didn't have. So I think that that's how I kind of got over that. And with regards to advice, I would say that when you are starting up on social media, regardless of if you're a business or if you do not ask personal, try to really find, like, this may sound cliched, but really and truly, like, people are coming for you. Like, people buy from people. They buy from people. They don't buy your products. And I know that for real, because like I would see a cheap pair of yoga blocks on or somewhere on Amazon, and there might be somebody who I really really love like on social media, and I would like buy from them because I relate to them. So I would say to like really hone in on like what makes you different from everybody else, because there are going to be a lot of other yoga people, a lot of other influencers, bloggers, all these different things. But like, why are you trying to be like them when there's an audience that you could relate to, that people would really really enjoy, and you're not giving people a chance to enjoy who you are if you are trying to be like somebody else. And like, I think that's so important, because it's only when I started focusing on not how my poses were looking, but how I was showing the journey of it and showing people that I didn't have a background in gymnastics. I started 3 years ago, and showing that side more than trying to take perfect pictures and pretending like, okay, I could always do a split. It's only when I started to be like, this is me before and this is me after, then people started to like relate more. So I would say that relatability over like perfectionism. Like, you are using your platform to relate to people because you don't know that we all go through the same thing, and you obviously have a niche and you are able to share your experience, and people are going to come to you for that. So use that to your advantage. So that's what I think really really helped me stop, like when I stopped trying to be like all the other yoga people and just started to be like, okay, what is my story, what is my journey, and how could I translate that? So we all have stories here, and we need to focus on that and kind of put our blinders on. And then from there, you're going to see huge changes in the way that you like operate on social media.
I am here for all the marketing advice. I am here like taking my little notes. 100% agree. And if I'm also pulling back to what Paula would have said too, um, it sounds a lot like that is what you also need if you're building an audience on LinkedIn. You know, imposter syndrome is definitely something that you're going to feel. I'm speaking to myself here too. You do feel it like, what do I have in this world where everybody seems to have it together? Everybody seems to know what they're talking about. What can I say? What can I do that is going to make me look like, do I even have the expertise for this? But it also feels a little bit like, just do it. Just do it. Paula?
Yeah, I was about to say, and on LinkedIn, it's kind of amplified because that's where you share all of your achievements on like a professional level. Of course, you can share personal moments too, but when you see this one have this certificate and this one have it, you're like, Jesus Christ, what I come here for? But yeah, yeah, I feel you.
And Nelly, anything you'd like to weigh in on?
First off, to share similar sentiment to what Paris and Paula have said. Whoo, Jesus, imposter syndrome is real. This is something I struggle with too. Listen, not even a good half an hour before we came on, I was like, "I sure I could do this, boy? You sure they want to have to say, boy? I wonder, but here we are. But it is very real. But like the quote, Paris, I need you to please send me that quote after, if you could put it in chat for me. Love that quote because that helps you to shift perspective. What I will say to someone who is using their social media to build their brand, be it business or personal, kind of stems off of what Paris also said. Authenticity is key. It is so much easier being your authentic self than trying to put a facade on for social media because you will find yourself having to live up to this facade all the time. And we see it happen with persons who want to, put out there that like they're living my best life and all these different exorbitant things when they're really and truly not. And it's just a show. You will have nothing to worry about in terms of trying to be exposed or trying to find people who quick to call you fake, etc. If you just share authentically. That is it. Be your authentic self. That's it.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise, bringing your experiences, bringing your realities, because you are also letting us know, hey, we're not perfect. We see it. We go through it as well. And you're right. We need that. And we being all the women that are listening to this, women in general, we need to know that there are people who are going through exactly what we go through. I'm glad you all said that because when I am here talking to these three women who have all this social media experience under their belt, I'm like, oh my word, I'm going to sound like I don't know anything. But again, and then that comes back to that whole negative self-talk because we do not give ourselves enough credit for everything that we've done, everything that we are, everything that we've overcome. We really don't. There's so much that needs to be dissected into that. Not enough time today to do it. But again, you're not alone. To the women that are here, or someone is tapping onto my emotional, my heartstring there. But yeah, we need to give ourselves more credit, and we are not alone. Everyone goes through it. So again, be prepared if you're going into social media for whatever reason. Be prepared. Know that you're not alone. And as Nelly B said so strongly, be authentic. All right. So you all, thank you so much for joining us today. We are nearing the end of our second episode. Now, I have not seen any questions in our comment section, but I'm pretty sure that if you have a question that you want to direct to any one of our panelists, they would more then love to take that question in their chats or on social media. So I'll just like to ask for our panelists to share, to plug yourselves. Let our audience know when. Oh, Makista. Let our audience know how they can find you. Paula, you want to go first?
Okay, so you all can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Paula Joseph and I'll pop up. Um, and Instagram, Paula A Joseph. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll target those two areas.
Paris?
Yeah, on Instagram and TikTok, it's just the Paris James because some boy actually took the name Paris James and I couldn't use it, like some random person. Yeah, so I had to put a the in front of it. So the Paris James on both Instagram and TikTok. And well, your Yoga BFF is for all of the products and classes. And I actually started on Instagram to like share like just behind the scenes stuff, regular stuff that I don't really care about. It's like a Finsta, which is like you don't really care. And I started that so that the yoga world was kind of consuming me. So I started that. So that's Your Girl PG, which people call me PG. So Your Girl PG, if y'all wanna, yeah, see the Finsta.
Yes, and Nelly, if you could also share your social media tags.
Okay, so on Instagram, I am Blessed Nelly. On TikTok, I'm Blessed Nelly B because somebody already had Blessed Nelly. Um, and on Facebook, you can just search for Nelly. Facebook and YouTube, you can search for Nelly B.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for sharing. Everyone is laughing. So again, I just want to mention that this episode is sponsored by Your Yoga BFF, founded by our panelist Paris James, and we will be doing a giveaway of a yoga mat and a 10-class pass for yoga classes to one lucky attendee. And great news, we are at the point where we are ready to do that giveaway. So I will have Paris announce who that winner is going to be. All right. So it is up. We have had just 1 second. All right. So we've had 14 people fight for a chance to win this giveaway. So we're about to spin this wheel and see who is our winner. All right. So let us spin the wheel and Paris you'll announce, right?
The winner is Huda Mohammed, who is commenting right there in the chat, was present for the whole thing. Congratulations.
Congratulations to her. And she's like a cheerleader as well. So I'm loving it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for our panelists. Thank you to our attendees. Huda, we will be in touch. Hey, check thing. Yeah, you just won. So, to our panelists, thank you again once again for joining us today, and our attendees for joining in and for being so great in the comment section. Guys, there will be a next episode will be coming next week, Sunday at 5 p.m. So once again, thank you. I'm saying it a lot because I am very grateful. And have a great week ahead. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.